Hello, Internet.
Hi, guys.
And welcome to not another episode of the Weekly Reset.
Definitely not the Weekly Reset.
And that was the original plan. But then I was up until 4 o'clock writing a script last night.
Yeah.
And then threw it away today. Because it was just no good. It was no good. We're so rushed at the moment.
Why is that?
Because of BlizzCon.
BlizzCon,
because of all the
you
things
say.
we have to get ready for that, and,
Yeah.
and all the preparations we have to make, and all the plans that we have to fulfill, and things like that. And
Packing
anyway,
and
it just meant that even though there was tons of really interesting things to talk about,
Yes, there is.
the Weekly Reset was a dud this
Yeah.
week. But we didn't want to not give you a video because we've got important things to talk about.
We do.
We're probably going to assess some of the news that we would have talked about, stuff like the 8.1 war campaign and stuff like that in a separate video at the very beginning of the week. But we wanted to give you something for your Sunday. Because that's what Sunday's all about, isn't it?
This.
It's all about autumn days. It's about putting on your big coat. It's about walking around the park, seeing all the dogs and
Sipping
the
your
children,
coffee.
sipping your coffee, and chilling out, getting a roast dinner in a pub maybe.
Yep.
Listening to football results coming in the distance
Floating
on the TV.
in from the other room.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And snuggling down to watch some Taliesin and Evitel. So
Heck
we're
yeah.
doing quite an old school episode today. We used to do this all the time, didn't we?
We did. We used to have this format called the Hot Fix.
So I guess this is a hot fix.
Yeah, you could call
Because
this
it's
a
both
hot
of us.
fix.
This more kind of chilled out, maybe podcasty. It's not going to be podcasty because I'm going to put like actual footage as well.
Yeah, there'll
Don't
be
worry,
stuff
I'm going to
going
put like
up on the
footage
screen.
of footage
You
of
don't
like
have to look at
really
this.
exciting gameplay
Yeah, the whole
going on,
time.
so you can watch and go, God, they are really good at the game, aren't
Yeah,
they?
right.
So we thought we would make this our BlizzCon predictions video that we've been
Hey.
promising, because frankly, that's a video that only has a very short shelf life.
Yes.
Basically, this video is only good until Friday, and after that, well, I kind of get a feeling people might still watch it just so they can go, they're idiots. They don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, I was going to say people are going to watch it and they'll be like, the prophet Taliesin has spoken yet again.
Well, that was last year, and that was the thing. Like, people have been asking for this video simply because last year we did a Taliesin Talks where it was just Taliesin. This is like a Taliesin Talks and Evitel.
Yeah. This is like Taliesin and Evitel converse. That's not really catchy, is
That's
it?
terrible. So anyway, last year, I, Taliesin, made a predictions video about BlizzCon where I don't want to blow my own trumpet, Evitel.
I don't think you can.
I don't want to. I've really tried. I've tried so hard. Basically, if I ever succeed, you're gone. I don't need you anymore. I don't want to toot my own horn. I do so badly, but I don't want to. I don't want to get a big ego about this. Okay, but in that predictions video, I did systematically predict pretty much everything that's in this expansion.
It was a little bit uncanny.
It was a little bit scary to the
Yeah.
extent where people kind of thought I had inside information.
Oh, because you do.
I
right?
also, people forget about this because, you know, history's written by the winners. I also predicted a lot of stuff that didn't happen. But we're not going to talk about that.
Fine,
We're going to talk about all the stuff I got right. And so this year we thought we'd do the same thing again and give you our predictions video for BlizzCon 2018, but this time with two of us.
Yeah.
Because the only thing better than Taliesin is Taliesin and Evitel.
Hey.
In the hotfix, we got this habit of doing it with a bottle of wine, and we'd have like a general wine choice and a wine
pairing.
recommendation. Yeah, so
if you will.
This week's episode of the hotfix will go well with this bottle of wine, and it was always whatever the cheapest bottle of wine in Sainsbury's was on that particular day, red flavour.
Yes.
And I did really want to do that today, but this is actually my third coffee because I'm so tired. And,
Yeah.
we're doing Cahoon tonight,
Yeah.
so I want to be on it.
Exactly.
I've got a feeling I have to be drinking then
It's curve night.
for that. Yeah.
Getting that
If
sweet,
we don't
sweet
get
curve.
we don't get curved tonight, basically
We're
we ain't
never.
getting it until
No, we're
after
not.
after
We're
BlizzCon
not.
when
We're
all
not.
our raid will have it already and
Yeah.
we'll feel like scrubs.
Yeah.
So no, absolutely, I kind of feel a bit like a scrub. I don't have curve already, but it's been a tough time. So these are going to be our predictions for BlizzCon 2018, and we are going to tell you. Warning. There are spoilers ahead.
There are spoilers.
We are going to drop some casual 8.1 spoilers probably.
Yep.
Now we're not going to put the spoiler warning up like we do in the Weekly Reset because this is unscripted. We don't know when those spoilers are going to come. We might just casually drop them.
They just.
And also we'd have to have the warning up the whole time. So rather than have the whole warning up the whole time, we're just going to tell you now. We're going to casually drop 8.1 spoilers.
Yes.
Also, we are going to probably spoil the rest of the expansion by predicting everything that's
Well,
going to happen.
there's that too. So if you don't want anything spoiled for you, maybe just
Don't be a
put it
dick.
on mute.
Yeah, go
watch the video.
Just watch
but
it.
just
No.
put it on mute
That's
and then
rubbish.
just kind of let this play
Just
out
put it on
in front
mute,
of you.
let it play out, let all the adverts play in their entirety. just be doing us really big favour.
Yeah.
Like, it's expensive time going to BlizzCon and
you
stuff, you know. So that'd be really good. No, but we are going to give you our predictions on specifically World of Warcraft in BlizzCon.
We're not talking about the special Diablo project.
No, the many special.
The many special
which
Diablo
we now think might be a tabletop RPG.
Oh,
we've been talking about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not going to be talking about that. So join us as we basically tell you everything that's about to happen for World of Warcraft in BlizzCon in our BlizzCon World of Warcraft predictions 2018. Okay?
Okay.
Go, 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 go. Okay, so there's a couple of things we need to get out of the way first and foremost.
Yes.
Before we start predicting what's going to happen, and that's to kind of talk about what Ian and crew is actually even going to discuss in the WoW What's Next panel, because last year was quite easy.
Yeah.
It was obviously going to be a new expansion. So we kind of hedged our bets and thought of some things they might say if they didn't have a new expansion, but everyone knew that, and we've got a lot more to go into with a new expansion. So our predictions aren't quite as wide-ranging in this video because there's going to be less important WoW announcements, frankly.
I think the panel's 15 minutes shorter this year. So.
Yeah. All of the panels are 15 minutes shorter this year. So it's not just a WoW thing. Because I've heard people go, the WoW panel's 15 minutes shorter, that must mean WoW is dead.
Give me my money back.
It doesn't take that long to cancel WoW, does it? But all of the panels are a quarter of an hour shorter, just generally, because I think it's not a big announcement yet.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting. So he's not going to announce a new expansion. I think that's a pretty accurate prediction. Do you know what?
Could you imagine?
Could you imagine if they came out and they were like, so new expansion?
Sorry, and when you say came out, it's Ian riding in on a wrecking ball, right?
What?
Anyway.
Yeah. So assuming it's not going to be a new expansion. Now, I think the assumption is that there's going to be a lot of talk about 8.1, and there's going to be a lot of talk about Classic. However, my first prediction is...
What is your first prediction?
That we're not going to talk about 8.1 at all, and that WoW Classic news will actually be restricted to the opening ceremony.
Interesting.
I don't think that Ian and crew are going to talk about WoW Classic in the WoW What's Next panel at all, and I don't think there will be nary a mention of 8.1.
I think that makes sense, because the What's Next panel is for WoW, and we're seeing WoW Classic as kind of a separate product, right?
Are we? Because there are a couple of questions that we have about WoW Classic, and the vast majority of those questions are getting answered at the moment. Like, all the really important stuff, like, it's going to have old school graphics. There will probably be a toggle to turn on new school graphics as well, but anyone that wants to play it in old school graphics can. Awesome. It's going to have integrated features with Battle.net, and that includes everything that Battle.net has, which is like communities and chatting to friends on Battle.net, and also right-click reporting, which is massively controversial for some reason amongst some parts of the community. But it's going to have all that, just because if you don't, you're building a whole new system to run it on, which is stupid.
And we know it's running on the existing WoW system. Yeah,
exactly. But essentially, it's going to be... Everything else is going to be legit Classic. It's not going to be transmog. They're not going to introduce like new systems into it or anything like that. It's going to be straight up WoW Classic, which is exactly what everyone wants, I think. Yeah. Which is great and perfect. Fantastic.
Good stuff.
So the only questions we really have are, how are we going to buy this game and pay for it? And is it going to come under the WoW subscription that you have already for the live game?
Yeah.
And I think it kind of has to, because we've technically already bought WoW Classic.
Yeah.
This is like a game mode rather than like a whole separate game.
Now, okay, so you think it's going to fit under the subscription, right? But do you think there will be maybe like a one-off fee to buy it?
I think maybe there will be, but I don't think there should be.
Okay.
I'm thinking quite selfishly, because obviously then it would cost me absolutely nothing. And I can just play it whenever I want. But also from a business point of view, I think from Blizzard's point of view, the number one way they're going to make the most money out of this is if they make it free, but just part of your WoW subscription. Like when you buy WoW, you get access to the live game that you've bought, and you get access to WoW Classic, but you have to be subscribed. And when you're subscribed to all of the WoW services. So because that's going to be great, because it means that when people have bought WoW and are paying their subs specifically for WoW, Classic, it also means they can jump into the live game whenever they want as well. Yeah. And that can only be good for the game. That's good for everyone. And it means all of the people who want to play WoW live most of the time can jump into Classic whenever they feel like it as well. And like, from a user standpoint, that's obviously the best way of doing it. But I also
agree.
think from a making pure shed loads amount of money, that's the best way of doing it as well. And
Probably.
Blizzard, I know you like money. They love money.
Do they?
Blizzard, it's like their favourite thing. Like money and like...
It's just money, isn't it?
It's just money.
It's
I
just
tried to
money.
think of another thing, but it
I
was just
know,
money.
I know.
Money and new metal. That's like their favourite things.
Oh God,
Can't
don't
get
get me
enough of them.
started.
And train. They love train.
Let's not talk about
Train's
train.
like their favourite thing. The only thing they love more than money is train. They'll spend all their money on train. They don't care.
You know, the lead singer of Train went to my high school.
Wow, did you know him? Did he sing you rubbish songs?
He's a bit older than I am.
Really?
Not gonna lie.
Oh, okay.
I know you're into like, you know.
I
older,
don't know any of... do you know what? I don't know
Yeah.
any of Train's music.
Oh.
Anyway, that's how I
Anyway.
think WoW Classic is going to go. And the thing is, because everyone knows what's going to be in WoW Classic already, and once you've established like that it's going to be all that, and once you've established what the way you're going to pay for it is, and how people are going to have access to it, there's nothing really else to talk about except when it's coming out.
Yeah, not so much, and maybe show a few
But
screen grabs, but then
like-
again, people would have seen all of that
because they're going to be doing it on the
already
demo
anyway.
and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and so I just don't think they're going to be talking about it in the WoW next panel.
That makes sense to me.
So I think there will be talk about Classic, but I think that'll be in the opening ceremony. I think they're going to be... Maybe we'll even get a release date. I doubt it, but maybe we'll get like a beta date or something like that, alpha date. I don't know. We'll probably get some like cool interviews with like plinky plonky music. We're going, oh, I never thought we'd go back to vanilla WoW. Ding ding ding. Oh, I love the communities. It's all about the community. Ding ding ding.
It's
ding,
like
ding, ding, ding.
vintage footage.
Yeah, totally,
of, you know,
totally.
kind of like the first WoW
And Mike
players.
Moorheim's like, we never thought it would be such a great success.
Do you think Mike
Ding, ding,
Moorheim's going to be there?
ding. Yeah,
Just to,
totally.
you
Of course
know.
he is. Absolutely, I would. If I was Mike Moorheim, I'd be coming out to do that opening address.
Is there going to be...
And introducing Brack. I'd be
Yeah.
doing like the handover.
Yeah. Is there going to be a farewell Mike Moorheim slideshow?
Okay, do you know what? Definitely 100%. And also
Yes.
with plinky plonky music.
Yes.
When we set out 25 years ago, none of us thought that we'd be going on this amazing journey. And then, like, it'd be like, Bajira would be there and he'd be like, oh, it's been such an important part of my life. And stuff like that. And, like, it'll be shit. That would be brilliant. Can't wait. Oh, I love those montages. They're the best thing.
Me too.
We're getting slightly sidetracked.
We are a little bit. But we will have a montage.
Yeah, totally. And
Great.
in fact, that's the only thing I want added to Classic WoW is a Mike Moorheim NPC. Get that in there. Like he can be there for the New Year's celebrations every year. He can be like a little gnome in Ironforge, and you go to him for a little one-off kind of quest that gives you a toy or whatever, and he's like, "What a year it's been!"
Oh my gosh, that would be incredible.
That
I would pay for.
can be in Classic WoW. But
That
that's
would.
it.
That
That's
would,
the only thing we want.
That would make me play Classic WoW.
Yeah. What you wouldn't play otherwise?
I will, but you know I'm gonna hate it.
Why?
You
Why are
know
you gonna...
I'm gonna be-
Wow! Hang on, no, I
Sorry.
don't know. Why
Sorry.
are you gonna hate it?
Well, okay, maybe hate is a strong word, but you know, I guess I never played Classic WoW, so I can't judge. Not at least not when it came out.
Aren't you super interested though to play it because
I
of
am
that?
curious. I have a feeling it will be frustrating.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I
But
kind
then
of-
again, these are all just like my preconceptions about.
Yeah, and I guess because I never played it either, which is why I'm super keen to play it and find out what it's all about. And I think I'd probably have fun. I feel like it might be a bit involved, unless it's my only game, which it's not, because I really like kind of like current WoW as well.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's gonna be one of those things I jump into in content droughts, but I don't think it's the kind of game that lends itself to being played like that. I feel like it's kind of an all or nothing thing with Classic WoW. So I don't know if it's gonna be what I want it to be really. But that's cool. I'm
We'll
super
see.
glad it exists. I
Yeah.
think it's fantastic.
I think it's super
awesome
cool.
for the game, and I want it to be as close to the original WoW as humanly possible, except I can play it on my widescreen monitor.
Yeah.
And it's on a 64-bit client.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool, thank you.
Yeah.
But apart from that, yeah, totally. And I want it involved, and I think all that will happen, and I think they will say all of that in the opening ceremony,
Boom.
in the WoW
Right
section
off the
of the
bat.
opening ceremony.
Yeah.
And then they might even say something about 8.1 in the opening ceremony, but in the actual WoW What's Next panel, no 8.1, barely any Classic, if any at all.
No 8.1, you say?
No, so instead, what does that leave to talk about in the WoW What's Next panel? That leaves the next patch. The patch afterwards, 8.2, and maybe even 8.3. Because I think if we're going to kind of take the whole shape of what the WoW What's Next panel is going to be in 2018, looking last year isn't going to help us much, but looking at 2016 will help us.
Okay.
Because Legion had just come out, the same as BfA has just come out. In fact, Legion had been out for like not as long as BfA has been out now. So
Right.
everyone assumed they'd be talking a lot about 7.1 because they'd mentioned it before. But actually, they didn't talk about 7.1 in the WoW What's Next panel at all. It was all 7.2, all 7.3. Well, I say 7.3, it was the whole, and then we're going to Argos, Mike Morheim drop. And everyone, the crowd went wild, and they were like, wow, this is brilliant, this is amazing. And I feel like that's going to be the case this time as well. Because that worked so well. Everyone loved the way, like, all new content came out all the time for 7.2 and 7.3 in Legion. Everyone loves Legion. Could do with some of those amazing vibes back now, and everyone's being as happy about it as they were then.
Yeah,
So I feel like they're going to fit to the same... That's what BfA has done anyway, is fit to like the Legion template in so many things. I can't imagine they're going to change in the way they kind of like announce their content. So, and we've already heard so much about 8.1. And it's already on like the PTR and stuff like that. I think we'll get a release date for 8.1, but again, I think that'll be in the opening ceremony. And I think WoW What's Next will be all 8.2, all 8.3. So with that in mind, Evitel,
8.3.
what do you think they will be telling us about 8.2?
Wow.
Bearing in mind that in 8.1 we've just had the raid, the cross-faction raid. Good to see they're stealing all our ideas still.
Right.
And there's been some pretty big things that have gone down in that raid. We've had character deaths. We've had character disappearances. We have some pretty big story in the war campaigns that we want to talk about maybe in a different video on Monday because it's really good. Like the war campaign stuff is awesome.
It's super cool.
It's really, really cool. And we've had all that climaxing in some pretty big events in the raid itself. Then, of course, we've got like the mini raid coming up as well. Although it hasn't. People are saying that's definitely part of 8.1, but I'm thinking it might be like.
I think it might be more towards 8.2.
It might straddle 8.1, 8.2.
Okay.
It might be kind of neither nor.
Well, because it feels like, almost like a bit of a transition moment, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's such a different like setup, and well, I mean, we'll see how that goes.
Well, I mean, when they announced like the next raid was going to be, the Alliance attacking Zuldazar and attacking like the Horde capital, like it was a surprise because the way it was sort of structured and everything, and like the interesting way that they're running the raid. But like the story behind it wasn't a surprise.
No,
it's like the Alliance attacking the Horde. Yeah, like we've actually set up that attack in the Alliance war campaign in 8.0. Cool. But like all the stuff that's happening in the Covenant of Storms, the mini raid. That's completely detached from anything that we've done so far.
Yeah.
It would seem.
It would seem.
So you're right, it does seem like it might be a gateway to other things. But Evitel, what are those other things? What will be talked about in relation to 8.2? What has Ian and his cheeky little wry smile
His twinkling eyes
got planned for us?
Well, if like you say, we're going to do the raid on Zuldazar, we're kind of coming to a climax in the faction wars. Do you think the next step could be towards Azshara?
Okay. Prediction number 3, Azshara. Now, this isn't really much of a prediction because we know that at some point we will be facing off against Azshara in Ian's own words.
Right.
So, but let's make this an official 8.2 prediction.
Let's do it.
And say this is when Azshara is going to kind of make her move and make her appearance. And all of that Naga stuff that everyone knows must happen.
It's coming.
It's got to.
You can't just show us Naga and not give us Naga.
That's pretty much your motto for life.
To put it plainly.
It's what you said the night we met. I was like, what? I was like, lovely to meet you. Would you like a drink? What would you like? And you're like, you can't just show me Naga without giving me Naga.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, yeah, you're right. I'd never really thought of it like that.
Are we going to get them as an allied race?
I was just going to get you a rum.
Are we going to get kind of a playable Naga race?
No.
Okay, probably, definitely not. However, I think this is when the Azshara story kicks in.
Okay, so when you say Azshara story, to what extent? Like, are we talking like a new zone? Are we talking like just sort of changes to the existing zones? What's going on here?
A new zone?
Okay, that felt like a stab in the dark rather than an actual prediction. So, like, a new zone. Yeah. I think there's got to be. 7.2 had a new zone in the Broken Shore. It was a zone that was kind of already there.
Yeah.
but then we were kind of reutilizing it.
Yeah,
So I think it's
revealed
I think a lot of people would think there'd be a new zone.
Yeah, and also we've had so much happening to existing zones as it is.
Which I love, by the way.
Which is cool, with Warfront and Darkshore and, the tree. Like, the world has been changing, so I feel like there's scope to kind of give more world.
And in the war campaigns as well, because the 8.1 war campaign has lots of stuff where you are like making changes to the other faction's continent, and like you're there with like armies and stuff. And it's really, really cool. It's like feels really satisfying that they're utilizing the world like that, which is something that people have always asked for. And
I think it's cool.
I think it's awesome.
Really
I think they should get some credit for that.
Yeah,
They're doing exactly what we asked for, and it's really good and it's working. I think there'll be a new zone. I think. Okay, so this is a big thing, right? If we assume the new zone is something to do with what happens in the Shrine of Storms, and it's something to do with Azshara, maybe to do with like an impending Naga invasion, does that mean that this new zone, and I'm going to go there, is going to be underwater?
You said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said it.
Yeah.
I think if it's like bubbled, if you have kind of like a bubble civilization under the water, that could work. I think people are pretty fed up with underwater mechanics.
Yeah, I don't think it would be popular.
I don't think it would just be like, Vashir 2.0, basically. I don't think they're going to do it exactly that way. It could be like physically underwater, but with normal mechanics.
But that's the thing. You know how like in Anglepoint Wharf, in Kultiras, there's like a huge underwater section.
Yeah.
And like you've got a little bubble over your head, and you're doing that really cool kind of space hopping along the floor.
Yeah, I don't think people want space hopping.
I kind of enjoy it. I enjoy going back there and doing it.
I
like it when there's world quest there.
I'm with you.
I kind of like it.
And I'm okay with underwater stuff, although kind of moving around and targeting in like 3D gets a little bit.
Okay.
There are like too many axes for me to wrap my head around.
I know what you mean. Or maybe if we get a cool mount that we can go around on. Everyone gets a mount? Yeah? Nice
I
mount?
think stylistically it could be underwater, but kind of in terms of mechanics and just navigation and moving around, it will feel like being on the ground.
I agree with you. And the more I think about it, the more I think it might be underwater. I feel like WoW are kind of pushing stuff in this expansion with like the Untitled Raid and stuff like that. They seem so keen to just like reimagine the way they do things and things that are like super established, like raids.
Yeah.
And I kind of think they might be doing that with the new continent in 8.2.
I think that would be really cool.
I think so. Okay, my prediction.
Okay,
official.
Let's hear the official prediction.
Is there will be, to go along with like a new Azshara focus and storyline and Naga kind of invasion thing. Because we know there are Naga invasions coming with the Covenant of Storms.
Yes.
We know that the Shrine of Storms area there is going to get taken over by like Naga.
Right.
And that you will feed Xal'atath, the dagger, Naga souls until the amazing thing that happens with Xal'atath happens. Okay, like that's a genuine thing. We know that's going to happen. So there are going to be world quests like Naga invasion world quests, and that's going to happen as part of the Covenant of Storms stuff, which has to be right at the very end of 8.1 or the very beginning of 8.2. I've got a feeling it's going to be the very beginning of 8.2.
Okay.
I think it's going to kind of lead into it, and then we'll get like the proper Naga stuff coming from that, because Xal'atath says, we have defeated this poxy little invasion, but we have like awoken up something much bigger in Nazjatar. So I think that's going to be the 8.2 stuff.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I feel like the jumping off point for that will be like there'll be a very small above water bit, which is maybe like Desolate's Point or something.
Right.
In 7.2 where like the camp and stuff is, and you have like your vendors and you have like Magni, I guess, like, oh heroes, you've got to do this. He's a troll now apparently.
Yeah.
And Jaina will be there and Talanji will be there. There'll be like different sides or whatever.
Yeah.
And from there you'll be jumping off into this zone. I guess maybe the Horde and Alliance will have like different like out of water bits. Yeah, maybe they'll even be like ships.
I can see that, yeah.
There'll be like camp ships that you're out. Yeah. And then from there you kind of dive down and do your underwater stuff. Nice. Will that be popular? No, I think people will hate it. But for now, that is my prediction.
I think there might be some like form of transport from, say, your ship up top, and a kind of bubble world under the sea.
You reckon?
Yeah.
So do you think it will actually be the city of Nazjatar?
I don't know, because then that might be moving too quickly towards, the stuff that comes after the Naga.
Maybe. And everyone, when we did a video like wondering where Nazjatar was, everyone was like, "You're an idiot." Everyone knows that Nazjatar is built into the wall of the Maelstrom because that's where Zinashari was, and Nazjatar just is the rebuilt Zinashari under the water, which is wrong, by the way. If you wrote that in the comments, you're behind in your lore, I'm afraid. That used to be the lore in the RPG. That's what the RPG said, but that's no longer current lore, I'm afraid. It's like there's nothing that says that Nazjatar is built into the wall of the Maelstrom. Yeah.
Good to
in
know.
Current law, just so you know. That's not to say it isn't.
Yeah.
Like, and they might as well just keep that. Why not? But it doesn't mean it has to be. Like, there's nothing in current law that says that Nazjatar is the rebuilt Zinashari, so it doesn't have to be where Zinashari was.
Yeah.
They went underwater and they built their city, so it could literally be anywhere. They could have built it anywhere.
Okay. I actually don't think we're going to be going to Nazjatar quite yet.
Okay.
I think this can be kind of like a massive like encampment of Naga and like their base from which they're kind of launching their attacks.
Okay, so you think it's going to be like a different place, a place that we've never heard of before?
I think so.
Wow, okay. I'm going to say it's Nazjatar.
Okay.
Just to be different from you,
Just,
really.
yeah, why not?
Okay, so if that is like the new zone, which may or may not be Nazjatar, may or may not be underwater, I'm going to say it's like at least 60% underwater.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are bits that are above water,
Right.
but I'm going to say 60% underwater, this new place.
I think there might be things underwater, but I think we will have like literally 5% underwater mechanics and the rest will not be, because I think it would upset people.
I think it would really upset people. And I think maybe even if that was the plan, there's been some mad scrambling in Blizzard's offices recently going, okay, like, guys, we can't do this. We can't do it.
Cool.
Okay, awesome.
All
So, with that said, prediction number 4 from me is that to introduce all of this, we're going to get a new cinematic.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's prediction number 4.
Okay.
I should have done prediction number 4 before prediction number 3, I feel. But prediction number 4, there's going to be a new cinematic.
What's going to be in the cinematic?
Okay, I'm sticking my neck out on this one.
Okay.
I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to say I think the new cinematic that we're going to see at BlizzCon will be Genn Greymane. In like an old soldier style. And I'll tell you for why.
Okay.
Because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that doesn't sound much like what I've just described with Azshara and underwater and stuff like that. But I think it'll be an old soldier style cinematic with Genn Greymane.
Okay.
Because he's going to be very important in the 8.2 war campaign and general story that's happening.
Okay.
And because I think 8.2 will also include a Gilneas Warfront.
Oh.
I think there's going to be a major focus on Genn Greymane and the Gilneans. And I think the next Warfront in 8.2 will be Gilneas. Because they got it. It's a city. It's there. It's doing nothing.
It is doing
Everyone
nothing,
wants
and
to
it's
go
so
there.
cool.
If
I
they
know.
and Darkshore is okay, but we spent all of the pre-patch there and stuff like that. And actually, by all accounts, it's quite a fun Warfront.
Yeah.
Darkshore, and some really interesting story around it. But I think that we'll be going to Gilneas, and I think that after the Alliance have retaken a Darkshore from the Horde, the Night Elves will be Genn, thank you so much for helping us with that. It's about time we sorted your shit out for you.
Hey.
We go to Gilneas and we take it.
I'm into that.
And can you imagine how
That would
chuffed
feel
people
good.
would be?
That would feel really
So,
good.
This is like prediction 4 and 5 here,
Okay,
and
okay.
it leads on to prediction number 6 as well.
Whoa.
Because prediction 4 is Genn Greymane cinematic.
Yes.
Don't forget, when WoW released, you had like those tweets that went out with those. Do you remember like
Just the
Anduin
faces, yeah.
putting on his helmet like that, and Sylvanas just being like that, and Saurfang looking like that?
Mm-hmm.
There was one of Genn Greymane
Yeah.
as well.
You know what? There's also one of Genn Greymane. The new statues in the BlizzCon store.
You're right.
There's a Saurfang and there's a Genn.
You're absolutely right.
Just saying.
Okay, so yeah, all right, yeah. You're okay. I think there's even more now. Then, I think he's going to be massively important in the war campaign, and setting up the Gilneas Warfront. I think that will be an 8.2 feature.
Wowza.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah. I think it'll be awesome
Cool.
because it's also got like and okay. So in the Warfronts, it's something I haven't thought about. You have like one race which is like one side and one race which is the other side. So like Strong Guard was Horde versus Alliance, but it was humans versus orcs.
Yeah.
And like Darkshore is elves versus Forsaken.
So cool.
Now, if you're doing a Gilneas one, the obvious thing to do would be to have Gilneans
Yeah.
Worgen versus undead. But is that a bit much? Like, do you know what I mean? Would it, like, if we've had undead Forsaken
Already.
as like the main
Yeah.
kind of other side in the Darkshore Warfront,
Yeah.
would it work to have them in the Gal? Who else could you have? Maybe one of the new allied races.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, that's tricky, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the nearest race to there, apart from the Forsaken, are either the Blood Elves, which I don't see happening really,
No.
or the Nightfallen, the Nightborn. Suramar is not very far away from Gilneas,
Ooh.
as the crow flies.
That's an interesting combination.
Maybe that could be like,
Yeah.
because that would add like, a bit of extra spice to the elves helping out the Worgen
Right.
during that Warfront as well.
Yeah.
And there could be like loads of
elf versus
cool.
elf.
There could be loads of cool like portals and stuff going on. And
Ah.
I don't
Okay.
know. That's just
Okay.
off the top of my head. That's not an official prediction, but
I
I'm
like
just trying
that,
to.
though.
Yeah.
Of all of the races, I think to jump in against the Worgen, I think Nightborn could be pretty interesting.
I think it'd be really. I think it'd be really cool.
Nice.
I don't know, but my prediction is because we all know there's going to be another Warfront in 8.2.
Yeah.
My prediction is Gilneas.
I like that prediction.
In reality, it'll probably be the Barons because that's the one everyone kind of thinks it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But Darkshore took us by surprise.
It did.
So like, the words on everyone's lips are Silvermoon
Yes.
and Gilneas.
Yes.
So maybe there'll be two. Who knows? But I'm going for Gilneas,
Okay.
not the Barons or Silvermoon. That's
Because
what
then obviously the Blood Elves would do Silvermoon.
What prediction was that? Was that number 5?
That was for cinematic Warfront.
Yeah.
So 4 and 5.
3 and 4, 4 and 5. I don't know. Anyway,
and 5.
that leads us to prediction number 6, by the way,
Uh-huh.
which is new Worgen and Goblin models.
I'm ready for that.
I think everyone's ready for that, and I
Yeah.
think if you're going to introduce new Worgen models,
Yeah.
what better time than during the Gilneas Warfront, where you're going to have Gilnean-themed armor. Oh my god, if you have a Gilneas-themed Warfront, you're going to have Gilneas armor,
Of course you
which
would.
is like Kultiran, but more gothic.
Okay.
And everyone will look like Percival from Vox Machina, and it'll be brilliant.
Nice. Will there be top hats?
Of course there'll be top hats. If
can
you're not
there
going to have a
be-
top hat, you can get out right now.
Can there be like little steampunk glasses?
There's going to be top hats, steampunk glasses, waistcoats, and like the new long coats that we're
That
really good at
we-
now.
yeah, well,
apparently, which will definitely be a thing.
Will they?
Yeah, definitely. Because they're
Hope
gonna
they will
well,
be.
they're gonna have to tell us about the Kultirans and the Zandalari when
Yeah.
they talk about 8.1, aren't
Yes, they will, which
they?
I'm really
in
looking
the
forward to
opening
hearing.
ceremony, and maybe they'll touch on that actually. Now I think about it
Maybe.
in the what's next.
Okay,
But
okay.
anyway,
Okay, fine.
so new Worgen models.
Nice.
Because Ian has said they are on their way,
Yeah.
new Worgen and Goblin models, but
Yeah.
he says they want to give it like a proper kind of announcement video and stuff
Okay,
like that.
yeah.
What better time than BlizzCon? And what better time when you're announcing a Gilneas Warfront
Nice.
and showing a new Genn Greymane cinematic?
That would totally be enough for me to play a Worgen.
Really?
Yeah, I've
Well, you
always
haven't
thought
seen
they're
the new
kind of
models yet,
cool.
they might be
Well,
terrible.
no, they're gonna be good. If they look anything like Genn in the cinematic,
Okay, so
I'm into
let's
it.
let's see. You've got the new, and why not? Let's go there.
okay,
Gilnean and Goblin heritage armor.
nice. What is Goblin heritage armor?
You tell me.
Oh god.
Like mecha stuff, probably.
Yeah, it's mecha.
The thing is, like, goblins are so small that no armor really looks very distinctive on them. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe
No,
it's-
gnomes would be more mecha. Goblins are more like. Well, I guess they also have that a bit as well. I don't know.
they're more junker than mecha. aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah, that's the word
Yeah.
for it. More junker, more like gold, more into the money.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe they.
Maybe
just,
they can all be dressed a bit like Gallywix.
Yeah.
Maybe their heritage armor will be top hats and stuff as well.
That'd be
but
amazing.
we also know that Gallywix is going to be like a big deal
Mm-hmm.
in 8.1, and therefore probably 8.2 as well.
Yeah.
So it would make sense to have new Goblin models as well to go with that. Just saying.
I'm
Just
into
saying.
this
So-
idea.
And that is prediction number 6, is new Goblin and Worgen models with a proper like mini presentation of those, and everyone will be like, nice one.
Nice.
Which leads us on to prediction number 7, a new allied race.
What's that?
8.2 allied race. Now this
What's
is
the
what
new allied
okay.
race? Oh, tell me.
Obviously Vulpera.
Yeah, it has
It's
to
got to
be.
be Vulpera.
It has to be.
Now, that's going to be a Horde one. We've done a whole video about this, so I don't want to go into it too
Yeah.
much now. But that would be the Horde option, be Vulpera. And I'm very interested to hear your opinion on what the Alliance option would be in that scenario. If the Horde one is Vulpera, what is the Alliance one?
This isn't fair because we definitely like there are so many signs pointing towards Vulpera,
Yeah,
and we know they're going to go with Horde.
yeah.
But The Alliance picture is a little fuzzier.
It is.
I don't know.
No, me neither.
Oh god, I have no clue.
I mean, the obvious one is Sethrak.
Well,
but
it's not that obvious.
Yeah, they're not.
It's not that obvious. And then how are you going to put helmets on their funny little heads?
They work all right. If you use the Worgen model,
Yeah.
which would be handy since we get all the new Worgen models.
Yeah,
if you
that's true.
use the helmets that they use for Worgen currently, they actually look better on Sethrak models than they do on Worgen models.
Okay. Yeah.
I know they look that's not a great example because they look terrible on Worgen models. Especially those ones like, you know, when you get like capes and stuff where your face is like blacked out underneath.
Yeah.
And like on anything with a human shaped face, which is everyone.
Yeah.
It looks fine, but on Worgen
Like
with their big pointy
snout.
nose, it's like you have this big sticky out, like just blacked out bit, and it's really weird.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, just a snoot.
Yeah, well, that's
Snoot,
probably not going to
boop,
change
boop.
even with new Worgen models, in fairness. So,
Well, hopefully that will a
yeah.
bit.
But
Okay,
so I
okay.
don't know what I think Vulpera and other allied race.
And another. It's so tricky because even when you're in like the capital cities, like in Borealis, and you've got, you know, your little fishman, the Jinyu standing around, you have all of these other races like floating around. What about Tortolans?
Their models just don't seem built for it. Like
They're a bit like a panda model, no?
They're not, because all of their models have their clothes already on. You can't swap out gear
There's
sets.
there's no naked
No naked
Tortolans.
No naked Tortolans.
Dang.
I mean, there's none anyway because they carry their houses around
Of course.
with them, you know. But
That would be a really cool racial.
It would be awesome.
Oh my god, go into shell.
Yeah, and do the
Shell
shell
mode.
spin that all the turtle like baddies do. And
Okay.
obviously, you'd want
That's cool.
Everyone wants
I
a
want
Tortolan, so they can call it like Leonardo or Raphael or something.
Make it a monk.
That's what I want.
Uh,
That's what I would do. It'd be awesome. Are you telling me you wouldn't do that?
No, I wouldn't actually.
If they announce, I might even just go and like try and reserve Raphael,
Oh,
Donatello, Michelangelo, Leonardo. I might just do that, and I'll start like a Worgen monk called Splinter.
There
It'll
you
be
go.
great.
There you
I
go.
can't wait. Well, Vulpera monk maybe.
Yeah,
called
yeah,
Splinter.
yeah.
But
Vulpera
like,
is more like it.
no, Tortollan won't be an allied race.
No, they won't, will they?
100% not. Which doesn't like at the moment. There's no obvious alliance kind of like there's interesting things happening with Calia Menethil and what have you, who is mentioned again in 8.1 in the war campaign. So that would suggest that she's going to become more part of it. I'd
Great.
love to see a Calia Menethil. Maybe this is the thing, right? Maybe I'm completely wrong about the whole Naga thing in 8.2 and like the whole kind of Nazjatar and that becoming a major thing, because there is this other really interesting thing going on with Talia and Calia.
Talia.
Talia and Calia.
Talia and Calia.
And that whole alliance side where they're just hinting at something to do with the Lich King and like a new type of Forsaken and like
kind
Calia
of raised by the
Menethil.
light.
Yeah, and like I feel like that could just suddenly be announced and kick off, and that could suddenly be a major thing, and it doesn't have to be instead of the Naga stuff, because don't forget, now we don't just have like raids and things like that as a way of delivering story. We also have the war campaign.
That's true.
Which brings us to prediction number 7, the war campaign. Now, this is one I haven't really thought about much, but what I love about BfA so far is the way that the war campaign is a really, really good way of delivering story.
It is.
The war campaign in
I'm into it,
8.1 is
actually.
great. I really enjoyed going through it when the game first started, and doing that on Horde and Alliance. Like, it was nice to have like these individual stories that kind of, they didn't really intertwine too much.
No.
Like, so the grand story of the expansion is kind of like, this is the Horde side, this is the Alliance side, but then within the war campaign there were like individual stories. And in 8.1 they start to intertwine a bit more, because the war campaign is all built around getting ready for the attack on Zuldazar and things,
Right.
and
Right.
the Horde one is this amazing like cat and mouse game with Gallywix and Mechatalk,
Nice.
which
I
and basically
love
the war,
that.
it's there to kind of set up the bosses that your faction isn't familiar with. So like, you're gonna like the Horde fight Mechatalk as a boss in Atal Dazor. So like, they have this whole storyline introducing Mechatalk, because it's like, you
Makes
guys
sense.
are Horde, you probably don't know who this
No,
guy
exactly.
is. Like, here he is.
Yeah.
Which is a bit shit, because if you're a Goblin, if you're a known player and you're like, we never get any story,
Yeah.
one day Mechatalk will get his moment in the sun.
Oh.
He does, but you don't get to experience it
No.
at all. You don't get any of it. Like Horde players get to see Gallywix coming in and basically kicking ass like 3 or 4 times. He just comes in and like, you launch a full-on attack on him, and he's like, I've got all these machines.
Yeah.
Screw you guys.
Yeah.
And he just beats your ass, and it's amazing. And if you were a known player, you'd be like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. And you don't see any of it. And the first time you see Gallywix do anything is when you turn into a Horde player to fight against him in the raid. So, like, if you're a gnome player, you've been waiting 14 years for the gnomes to do literally anything at all, and then suddenly Gallywix is there, and he's a major part of the story. And not Gallywix, sorry. Mechatork is there, and he's a major part of the story, and he's kicking ass. And literally the first you see of any of this is when you get magically turned into a Horde player and have to defeat him.
And you kill him. Oh, man.
And that must suck. That must suck for gnome players. And I'm sorry, but you just have to take our word for it. Mechatork is awesome in the War Campaign 8.1. He's really, really cool. And maybe that'll be the Alliance allied race, is the Junker Gnomes that everyone is kind of talking about. That would be left field, and it'd be incredibly surprising.
Would it be?
Yeah, because
I feel like gnomes have been so out of the spotlight.
There's been foreshadowing, but nothing as like obvious as Vulpera. Like Vulpera is there. Yeah. It's they could literally just flick a switch, and that is an allied race. Like everything is in place. Junker Gnomes would be a whole different. Like that would be out of left field. I know there have been hints at it, and I feel like people think it's something that is definitely coming at some point, but it would be a major surprise to me if it was 8.2.
It'd be cool, and we'd all fly around in like Mimiron's head and stuff.
Yeah. And I think it would set things up nicely for the new Tinker class next expansion.
Ooh!
But that's a next expansion.
Okay, prediction. That's another.
Well, okay, so you know when you're on doing island expeditions. Oh, you probably don't actually, because you haven't played much Horde this expansion.
Not so much.
Okay, so like one of the teams that you play against. Oh, there is a Goblin version as well, actually. But mostly one of the teams that you play against is like a team of 3 gnomes. And they all have like robots and stuff. Yes. And there's like one of them's got like a medic robot that heals it. One of them's got like a tanking robot and stuff like that. And the Tinker class could be exactly that, like putting down turrets and robots. They could be a healer, and they could use different machine abilities to heal people, and like a tanking ability. It would be your first technically ranged tank, which would be awesome.
That would be cool. Would they have like a little mecha they can get into? And
maybe, and all of that stuff. And it makes sense because you could have DPS. It'd be a new ranged DPS class, which we really need. Yeah. And a new healer and a new tank. I know that'd be a nightmare for Blizzard to like balance and everything, but that's why it's an expansion thing. It's obviously not like a patch thing. But and then you're thinking what classes, what races could possibly be Tinkers, well, goblins and gnomes, but also Junker Gnomes.
Of course.
Vulpera.
Right. Yeah.
They could totally be Tinkers
because they're
like out in yes, they could even use the same animations. But they're out in like the desert doing all like you know being all Star Warsy and putting stuff together and going camera. Like they could totally be Tinkers.
They could be.
So like it makes perfect sense.
That would be so cool.
How awesome would it be?
Oh my
God, that is way ahead of ourselves. I'm sorry everyone.
That is not an official prediction.
No.
That you can come back and be like, Taliesin got that wrong.
Actually, that is an official prediction, but for next expansion.
Fine.
Totally. Yeah. We will come back to that. There's a video in that. The War Campaign could go in a completely different direction. And I feel like it's the War Campaign where they're pushing like the main character development at the moment. Yeah. You know, I feel like that's where all the Sylvanas stuff is happening, and the Saurfang stuff, and the War Campaign is definitely gonna have some Saurfang stuff.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like if we get something on Genn, that's enough of a hint about story in 8.1. Yeah. And I feel like Saurfang is like he's in the key art and stuff like that. There's bound to be something about him.
Do you think he's gonna die?
Yeah, I think he probably will.
I think he has to at some point.
Overall, at the end, I think that's gotta be. And he'll probably die saving Sylvanas.
Ooh.
I think there's going to be this whole like thing where he is obviously upset at everything that's happening in Sylvanas world, but I think it will turn out that Sylvanas is doing something right, and despite everything that he is supposed to hold dear, he'll realise that.
Okay.
And he'll kind of sacrifice himself so that Sylvanas can complete her mission and kind of save everyone.
Or do you think he will sacrifice himself to save Sylvanas? Not because of that, but just because he's decent and honourable. And that moment will change Sylvanas' mind about something.
I don't think anything's going to change Sylvanas' mind, and I think that would be weak. I see where you're coming from, but my current kind of thinking my thinking from the very beginning with Sylvanas is that she is aware there's some bigger threat, and she is kind of making her side as powerful as possible to be able to take on that threat.
Okay.
And there's that thing of like at the moment, the Horde mentality under Sylvanas is we must win at any cost.
Yes.
Even if that is dishonourable or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we just need to make the Horde as strong as possible. That's literally all we care about.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's going to get to the point where... And that was always Rathian's thing as well. He was like,
oh yeah,
I want to wipe out one of the factions, so the other one is like uber powerful and can take on the Burning Legion when it comes. Like, and it's just an extension of that thinking.
Yeah,
and it's like, and I think it's going to get to a stage where we're going to have like an almighty threat like Azshara or N'Zoth, and the Alliance is going to be like, we are not equipped to do this because we haven't just been putting the strength of our faction above all else. You know, we have been holding back a bit and just trying to not genocide and shit like that. And we need the Horde to be as like they're the only ones that can stop this now. And I think that Saurfang will see that. Okay. Maybe in a moment where he is leading an attack on Sylvanas himself, and he realizes that Sylvanas and the power that she's built and all these people that she's raised, like this amazing new Forsaken army with Night Elf Rangers and Blood Elf Forsaken, which looks like it's going to be a thing as well. Yeah. It's one of those casual spoilers. And like all of the other Forsaken
like
stuff as well.
Azerite guns.
Yeah, maybe the Forsaken will win the Battle of Gilneas, and they'll have a whole new city of Forsaken and stuff like that. And as such, the Horde will be the only ones with the strength to repel this. And when Saurfang is there and he could end Sylvanas, he's like, we need you and the forces that you've built up. You saw this coming. None of us did. You're the only one with the strength to beat this.
I like that idea. I don't think it's going to happen. If only because of how shit it makes the Alliance look, which... has been kind of an ongoing theme.
Maybe.
Like, for this expansion, like, the Alliance has been getting shafted pretty regularly.
Maybe, although one thing I really like about 8.1 is the way the Alliance are one step ahead of the Horde.
Okay.
And there's a really nice touch, and this is a major spoiler for 8.1, the War Campaign. You know how the Horde, they have the Scepter of the Tides, the Abyssal Scepter, and the whole Horde War Campaign at the beginning of the game is them stealing the Abyssal Scepter and raising Dalen Proudmoore. The Alliance have stolen it back, but they've put a fake one in its place. And they do that in the 8.1 War Campaign, and Horde players won't know that, which I think is really cool. Like, Alliance players know it, and they go in their War Campaign, and they replace the Abyssal Scepter with a fake one. So they've got the Abyssal Scepter, but the Horde think they've got it. So there's going to be a moment where they go...
Sneaky.
Like, they're like, we're going to destroy the Kulturian fleet or whatever, and we're going to use the Abyssal Scepter, and it's not going to work, and then Jaina's going to be like... hey bitches, like it's gonna be awesome, and that's just really nice. Cool. That's like some really nice storytelling. Like nice dramatic irony going on there, and like Horde have similar things in place that they can surprise the Alliance with, and I think that's like war campaigning done right, I reckon. Like, because Alliance players, when they play through the War Campaign, they will know that they've got the Abyssal Scepter. The Horde players who haven't played the Alliance side think they've got it. And that's brilliant. I think that's just really cool. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I don't think we're going to get much of that in the what's next. But I think we'll get some hints at what the story will be. I think we'll get something about Saurfang. I think everyone wants some kind of split.
Oh, yeah.
Especially now you have these new like dialogue options and stuff like that. I think that's very surface level stuff.
Of course, you're going to end up playing the same story.
Yeah, and that's all we asked for was surface level stuff. But just even that is a massive difference where you can just say to the guy, "I'm not going to help you with this."
Right. Yeah.
And that means a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And that is quite new for WoW. Yeah. And like that's all you need. That's literally all you need, which is brilliant. It's a wonder it's never been in it before. But I think because of that, a lot of people think there's going to be a genuine split. And we've done videos about having a third faction before.
We have.
I don't think this is the time. I don't think it's going to happen now. So I don't think it'll be... I don't think 8.1 is going to be all like, join Saurfang on his new mission and his new faction and win back the Horde and stuff like that. I think it'll be a bit more complicated than that.
Yeah.
And maybe... Okay, prediction number 27. A kind of a features trailer.
Okay.
For 8.1, which will focus on Saurfang. You know how like the features trailer for Battle for Azeroth was narrated by Jaina?
Right.
My father always told me that peace was an illusion and all that stuff. So you had the cinematic with Jaina and Anduin, and with Sylvanas and Anduin, and then you had like the features like trailer.
Yes.
I think there'll be an 8.2 features trailer.
Ah.
Or like a features teaser rather than a proper trailer.
Yeah.
And I think it will be narrated by Saurfang.
Ooh, nice.
And I think it'd be like, I have always believed in honor above all else. And like it'd be, now I face a choice. And so do we all. Ba, 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 ba. And it'd be like really bad models going, Gilneas Warfront, ba, 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 ba.
Yeah.
New continent, ba, ba, ba. We're fixing PvP promise. Da, 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 like that.
Yeah, that's perfect. Send it off to production.
Yeah. No, okay, so that's my next prediction.
Okay, I like
next
it.
prediction
I like
regarding 8.2 is, I think they're going to take some stuff from Legion.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking what went down the best out of that 7.2 announcement in 2016. Okay. And the things that stick out in my mind about 7.2 announcement was class mounts and Mage Tower. Like, those are the two things that everyone was talking about after the 7.2 announcements.
Yeah.
And so far, there's nothing like that in Legion. So I wouldn't be surprised to see... Class mounts is a tricky one. I think maybe heritage armors will take the place of that.
Right.
So maybe we'll see like an influx of heritage armors.
Okay.
Like loads more heritage armors. They'll be like, bah, human heritage armor, ba 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 ba, da da da, night elf heritage armor, all naked.
Naked. Are they gonna be naked?
Yeah, of course, gonna be naked.
Thank
Come
God.
on.
I know. A girl can hope. You know.
So maybe that'll take the place of like class mounts, because it's something that they're really into, like racial things.
Yes.
This expansion and faction thing. So that'll probably be, because that'll be something that it's got the same kind of feel as class mounts. They have their own storylines.
It gets you hyped about the class you play.
Yeah,
basically.
totally. I think maybe that'll take that place. I'd love to see something like the Mage Tower.
Oh, what would that be though?
It could be like maybe like an assassination mission for a faction like general or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it could be.
It has to be like, I think like the Mage Tower, it has to be kind of like instanced.
Yeah, totally.
That could be cool.
But
though.
instead of like, because in the you always fight against some demon or something in the Mage Tower, but in this time you could be fighting against like Rexar.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Ooh. But they have to be really, really hard.
Yeah.
Like they have to.
Well, yeah, and they'd be the same sort of thing. And I know Ian said there was no plans for something like that.
That would be cool though.
But they've got plenty of time to do it.
It does feel like something like that is missing. Because, you know, we've got Warfronts, which are cool. We've got island expeditions, which are fine. And
they're
fine.
They're
exactly.
fine.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, they're fine. I do them and stuff. They don't get me like.
They've got a lot more interesting recently as well.
Yeah.
With all the new graphical effects and stuff, and like there's a mist that rolls in and stuff. And that's cool.
But with like
fun.
Mage Tower, you're right. You had a real challenge for some people like me, and you got a really cool cosmetic reward from it.
Yeah.
So, and we don't really have. I mean, you get cosmetic rewards from the Warfronts, but
and maybe instead of a class challenge,
it
will be a race challenge.
That would be interesting. Okay,
That'd
and
be
then you
weird.
get like race
I don't know how they
specific...
possibly do it.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting.
Maybe it's impossible. Maybe they can't do that.
But yeah, but I do get what you mean. That it does feel like those things are, those like kind of very specific rewards are missing.
Yeah.
Because you have your Heart of Azeroth, which everyone has, and you don't really care about. You just fill your bar.
I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, exactly. And you have your Azerite armor again, which is just armor. You don't really, there's very little like excitement about it. So it's like that like prestige like item that you have to get that we don't have right now.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is missing, which was actually really fun in Legion when you look back on it.
And I guess there's the argument that maybe Heritage Armor fills that gap as well. But the challenge aspect of it was really fun.
Exactly. Not that it isn't a challenge to level a character.
True.
But it's not as like immediate, and there isn't like this.
Well, you don't have to level a character to get the Heritage Armor for the existing.
No, exactly. You will just have to do a quest or whatever, which anyone can do. But yeah, I want that. That's a really good idea, actually. I want something like really challenging.
I don't think that will happen.
Challenge.
I'd love to see that, but I don't think it'll happen.
But look at how well it came off in Legion.
Yeah.
Like it was genuinely really popular.
But I feel like it won't be that. It will be something along the same lines, but that we haven't predicted.
Right. Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Because they wouldn't do the same thing again.
I guess not.
But
even though it was really good.
I know. I do like the idea of like a very specific challenge that gives you a very specific reward. I'm into it.
Yeah, like Green Fire Quest for All. Do you know what I mean? Like that stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone loves that.
Yeah.
Most people love that. I think it'd be something that people talk about. And
Yeah.
that's what they want to do in these kind of What's Next panels. They want to give you something that you can talk about excitedly.
chew on.
And yeah, totally. And so, okay.
Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe
Okay.
not. Who knows? I think there'll be an announcement of a new raid.
Yeah.
Like they essentially announced Tomb of Sargeras, and they showed they didn't show us. I don't think they showed us the final boss of Tomb of Sargeras, but they showed us like the avatar of Sargeras and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And I don't think they showed us Kil'jaeden. That would be a surprise.
Yes. I mean, although we kind of knew.
I guess it'd be Azshara, wouldn't it? Yeah, if there's
It
the
has
next
to
raid,
be.
I guess there will be,
Has
unless
to
they're
be.
going to carry on with the whole faction war thing, like hardcore.
Maybe they will.
But I mean, raid. I'm gonna say it'll be the Azshara raid. That'll be my prediction. Because
Okay.
this is a predictions video after all. I got a little bit sidetracked,
Yeah.
but I'll say the Azshara raid will be the raid that's announced. War campaign won't focus on that so much.
Okay.
I guess the war campaign will tell the story of why each faction is actually doing the Azshara stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the Horde at the moment have got Lady Ashvane on their side. This is how the Horde War Campaign 8.1 finishes. They break Lady Ashvane out of Tor Gador, which, by the way, is the worst prison ever made.
Yeah.
Like, why can't the Alliance hold on to any prisoners at all? They
Yeah.
can't hold on to Talanji or Zul.
Is
Like, they literally lose them out of the Stormwind stockades. Under the nose of all of the mightiest heroes of the
Also,
Alliance.
isn't that Lady Ashvane's prison? Like,
Yeah.
she owned it.
I know,
so
it's
she
a bit like Daredevil. She owns the prison.
Yeah.
But then we go. The Alliance go and sort out Tor Gador and
Okay.
just break in and like destroy everything. And we get put in there and we break out, and then we go back and,
Right.
and like sort it out. And now the Horde are breaking in there and stealing Lady Ashvane.
Oh
It's like,
boy.
basically, there's that like row of cells
Yeah.
which just constantly gets those people. They get let out like every week.
God.
They escape from Tor Gador.
God.
It's terrible. It's the worst prison. It's absolutely awful.
Oh.
Shit Gador.
Dagor.
Open the door.
Open to the...
Should be called Open Door Prison. So like, but Ashvane clearly has some links to
Yes.
weird underwater stuff
Yes, she does.
and squids. She loves squids, doesn't she?
Yeah. 'Cause she's
Lady-
a bit like Ursula, isn't she?
Lady Ashvane, I think, in the very, very, very early incarnations of Siege of Borealis,
Yeah.
she was the squid at the end.
Oh.
No one actually saw that with their own eyes, but the way that the data mining and the boss abilities were written, the last boss was called Lady Ashvane and was a squid.
Ah.
So, like, I feel like the original thing was she was like, aha! And turns into a squid.
Mm-hmm.
And then they changed that for whatever reason because they wanted to use it more.
Very interesting.
So,
Or maybe she will have links to Azshara, which
Well,
give
that's
her
what I
those
mean. Yeah,
abilities
totally.
eventually.
yeah.
And then
And there's a reason she looks like Ursula.
Well,
isn't there?
yeah, I mean, it's quite like on the nose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe the kind of war campaign for the Horde is like, all right, let's see what Azshara has to offer us. Or
Okay.
like, let's kind of plunder her wares and abilities and skills and stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
And then whereas the Alliance is like, we're very good, we don't want any of this, let's just, get rid of the Naga and like suppress them and stuff.
Or maybe the Horde think that because they have the Abyssal Scepter, they can control the Naga.
Ooh.
So they go down and they're giving it all the whole, hey, and the Naga are like, we're going to kill you now. You're
Yeah.
down here. You can't do this. And they're like, oh, yeah? Oh. And that's what kind of starts the whole Naga attack.
Yeah.
And then they're like, let's get out. Let's get out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Or maybe they try and use the Abyssal Scepter for something and realize that it's the fake. And then the Ashvane's like, I knew a thing or two about underwater
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Ooh.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
well, it's got to
Okay.
involve her in some way.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got Classic and 8.1 being talked about in the opening ceremony rather than the What's Next panel.
Yeah.
Maybe a tiny bit of 8.1 in the What's Next.
Yeah.
So mostly 8.2. New cinematic, I'm saying with Genn Greymane.
Okay.
And it'll be like old soldier style.
Mm-hmm.
Because why not?
Of course.
Gilneas Warfront.
Mm-hmm.
New Goblin and Worgen models.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be, I don't know, some new islands.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay.
Maybe some kind of Mage Tower type thing. Although I'm
Mage
loath to
Tower
make that
type thing.
official prediction. I don't think that will actually happen. That's a
Okay,
hope.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that.
Okay.
I'm gunning for like a challenge.
Okay.
For Mage Tower style challenge.
Okay. A shed load of new heritage armors,
Yes.
including Gilneas Warfront heritage armor.
Top
And
hats.
new allied races, including Vulpera.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to say MECHA GNOMES.
The more you say that, the more I want to agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one of the mounts
they
you
make
can
sense.
get, one of the mounts that you can get from the new raid,
Yeah.
is Gallywix's mech suit.
Yes.
From he drops from Mecha Talk.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is a hint, maybe.
And don't forget that when you're kind of questing around, is it in Borealis? Not outside Borealis.
Tiragard Sound.
Yeah.
From the junkyard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the junkyard
yeah.
with Pantera, the Mecha Panther.
Oh yeah. Is it called Pantera?
It's called Pantera. It's spelled like
I didn't
it's
notice
spelled
that.
like P4NT3.
Oh, that's
R4.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, there are
cool.
hints there.
Yeah,
right?
there are. Okay.
But they're hints for
Okay,
everything,
fine.
I guess.
I think this is wrong, but I'm gonna make it my official prediction.
I will go ahead and make it my prediction. I will do
Mechanisms.
all the wrong predictions.
Okay.
Mechanisms.
Yes, actually, can you make it yours? That'd be brilliant.
Yeah,
Okay, MECHA GNOMES. The Azshara Raid finally will be the 8.2 thing. Because I think we'll be ready for a nice dark underwater type thing. I think that's, and I think it'll be an underwater. I still want to see an underwater raid boss with 3D mechanics.
I don't. I think many people don't.
If it was one boss and it wasn't the final boss of the raid, I think I'd be totally down with it.
Okay.
And if swimming was like super fast, that's the thing. It's like it's because it's slow, which leaves final prediction 8.3.
Ooh.
Now, when Ian said the whole Argus thing in 2016, that brought the house down. We were talking about it for days and days and days. It led to months of speculation and talking and hype around the game, and I find it inconceivable that they won't do the same thing.
And you know it's going to be like,
this BlizzCon.
okay, that's it. See you later.
No, it'll be like, so we've gone down into the sea. We've taken on Azshara and fought back the forces of the Naga. But that still leaves one question. In the battle for Azeroth, who are we battling against? Is it the other faction? Sylvanas? Anduin? Calia? Genn? Saurfang? Or is it someone else? Could it be that all of this time, the battle for Azeroth was not the battle to own Azeroth, but the battle to save Azeroth? And who could it need saving from? N'Zoth.
Yeah.
And I think there'll be a model of N'Zoth.
Okay, so you think there will be...
In the same way that they revealed the art of Azshara,
Right.
I think
There'll
there
be
will be
art of-
concept art of N'Zoth.
Okay,
And it will be like in a clear like raid setting.
cool.
And I think it'll be concept art, and it'll be like maybe a whole island with like tentacles over it and stuff. But
Yeah.
it'll be that.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Ooh.
And I don't think it'll go any further than that, just like it did in 2016.
Right, yeah.
But I think I've pretty much said word for word what he's going to say.
That's
in
pretty
his
good.
speech.
Although I think, I think you're pretty much there. Although I feel like a lot of people already know that the battle for Azeroth is...
I know, but that's
For
why. But he knows
Azeroth.
that as well, and that's why
Yeah.
they'll start going crazy.
Okay.
Because like he's not the same way that he did with Argus. Like if you watch that presentation now from 2016, people are shouting out the word Argus as soon as
Yeah,
he starts.
yeah.
Like, but he still like strings it
Yeah,
out.
oh yeah, he
You know, because he
he's
loves.
very good at that.
People say that Ian is like this kind of lawyery type figure who's very cold and very calculating and stuff like that. But he is a total like he loves drama.
Yeah, he's a showman.
He's a total showman.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he when he gets his moments to do that, he revels in it.
Yeah,
That's why
he's
he
very
comes
good at
on.
it.
He does like the 7.1, the
Yeah.
8.1 stream and stuff like that. It's because he loves revealing shit.
Yeah.
He loves it, and he's good at it.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
he is very good.
Yeah, and I feel like he's got a really good sense of that, and I feel like if there's one thing I trust BfA to do, it's tell the story to completion and tell a story that was decided on in its entirety before the expansion even started. I feel like they've known from the very beginning
It's
where
in
the
the
story's
title,
going
right?
and how it's
Yeah,
going to end.
exactly.
And that's why I kind of don't agree with people when like the Savannah stuff happened in the pre-patch, and they were like, they're making this up. They don't know where they're going with
guys,
this.
this isn't like Lost.
No, exactly. I have
not
no
writing
doubt
it
that
as
they
they
know
go.
exactly where the story is going.
Yeah.
To the extent where they can't change it.
Yeah.
And that's why
Yeah,
I don't think like everyone's like, oh, they really listened to us with adding these options with Saurfang and stuff like that. It's like, no, I don't think so. I think this is always part of the plan.
That's part of it.
Like,
yeah.
I think
you can do like small changes.
Yeah, I think they added stuff like on various stages of the PTR, which is what the PTR does.
Yep.
Like, I think it was probably always kind of part of the plan.
Yeah.
Personally, much as I would love to think that they watched our video where we said they should do this and then went out and did it. I don't think they did that at all.
Calling the team and being like...
No, I don't think we changed the game there, guys.
No,
Sorry, I think that was always part of the plan.
Yeah,
and I feel like whatever happens, it would always be... I think that was probably the case with Argus as well. I don't know. I'm really interested to see what it is. But I think that would be the big mic drop moment at the end.
I'm into it.
Yeah. And I hope it's a Mike Morhaime drop moment. I hope, like, as he says N'Zoth, Mike Morhaime runs onto the stage and jumps into Ian's arms just so he can drop him.
Will he be okay?
Yeah, he's a billionaire.
Okay.
He'll be absolutely fine.
Okay, I just don't want to cause any harm.
Ow, I hurt my back. Never mind, I've got literally $1 billion.
Is Mike Morhaime a mecha gnome?
Well, I think we all know he is. I think he could be. He's got $1 billion. If he turned around and was like, hey, I want a mech suit, everyone would be like, we will make you a mech suit. No, we'll do that. For a start, we all want you to live forever anyway. Like, so yeah, you better believe we're going to make you a mech suit. Mike Morhaime's going to be like the emperor from 40k. Like, in 2,000 years' time, Mike Morhaime will just be a really happy face, like, in a huge machine. And every time, like, a Blizzard IP goes bust or gets cancelled or something, like, a tear. A single tear, which gets caught in like a gold cup, and it's incredibly powerful. And they feed it to only their greatest devs to give them more power. You know?
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be.
Is that a prediction?
That's my official prediction for 2,000 years' time. In the future, there is only war and Mike Morhaime crying. Happy tears most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so.
So, guys. I see why we only did that with one person last year.
I know, right?
Kind of went off on some tangents there, but those are our predictions. Those are my predictions, certainly.
Yeah, and mine.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
That we haven't touched on?
I'm just really excited for BlizzCon.
Yeah, me too. And I'm kind of glad that it's not going to be a huge announcement year for WoW.
Same.
Actually, this is a really important prediction as well. Something we haven't touched on.
Okay.
It's maybe the most important one of all. How many Belial videos are going to be? Because I think you can chart the success of WoW.
Over what period of time?
From Friday to Sunday.
Friday to Sunday, there will be...
I wonder how many there were last year.
10 to 12.
I think there were 10 to 12 last year, and that's expansion year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5...
Okay, so there are 12.
12. He did 12 for an expansion.
I'm going to say 9 or 10.
I'm going to go less. I'm going to go 8.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to play it safe.
Right,
yeah. Although I think you're
ambitious.
probably right, but I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Okay, so 8 Belial videos. You're saying
9 or 10.
9 or 10. Guys, thank you for joining us for this rather unusual episode of the hotfix, I guess.
Yeah, we can call this the hotfix.
Ah, fantastic.
We have a beverage. We're sitting here chatting.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to get a video out on the war campaigns, which will be a more traditional T&E video, and then there'll be a weekly reset live from BlizzCon, which will have this kind of format.
Yes.
Again, I'm afraid. But then once we're back from BlizzCon, the weekly reset will be back to its normal kind of format.
Yeah.
So something to look forward to then. Thank you for joining us today. If you like this video, don't thank us. Thank our patrons who give their actual real life money to make these videos happen.
They do.
And we're going to do a Q&A for you guys as well before we go to BlizzCon as well. Because you deserve it.
Hey.
And we want to.
Yeah.
We're a bit behind on the old Q&A.
Yeah,
so,
seriously.
but thank you guys. You're awesome. If you didn't like it, downvote the shit out of it. Remember, my name is Mike Morhaime.
Or is it?
Jambrack. Who knows? No, my name is Taliesin. From me.
And me, Evitel.
Until next time. Cheerio.